The film opens with four figures lying lifeless on the ground, riddled with bullets. Over this scene, we hear the weary voice of Andromache the Scythian, Andy, confessing her exhaustion with the endless cycle she endures. Sometime earlier, Andy meets her partner Booker in Morocco. Together, they rendezvous with fellow operatives Joe and Nikki. This quartet of immortal warriors has walked the earth for centuries, carrying out covert assassinations while guarding their secret fiercely. So cautious is Andy that she discreetly deletes a candid photo in which she appears, taken by a group of unsuspecting women. The team is approached by former CIA operative James Copley, who hires them to neutralize a militia accused of kidnapping and terrorizing civilians. Accepting the assignment, they fly to South Sudan. Upon infiltrating the militia's compound, they realize too late that they've been set up. The enemy opens fire, cutting them down in a hail of bullets, the same moment glimpsed in the opening. But death is only temporary for them. Within moments, their bodies reject the bullets and rapidly heal. The stunned militia has no time to comprehend what's happening before the immortals retaliate with lethal precision. Andy, wielding her battle axe with deadly skill, cuts through their ranks. Spotting a surveillance camera, the team suspects Copley's true intent was to record and expose their secret. Andy smashes the camera, and the four make their escape, now determined to track Copley down and learn the truth. In Afghanistan, a squad of U.S. Marines storms a terrorist compound to rescue women held captive by a militant leader. Leading the charge is Niall Freeman, who is guided by one of the women toward their target. Niall and her team breach the room and open fire, critically wounding the man. She attempts to stabilize him to take him alive, but he lunges with a hidden knife and slashes her throat. As Niall collapses, her partner Dizzy scrambles to stop the bleeding. At that same moment, across the world, Andy, Booker, Joe, and Nikki simultaneously experience a vivid vision of Niall, a sign that another immortal like them has emerged. They immediately change course to track her down. Back at the medic tent, Niall's neck wound has miraculously closed, leaving her comrades in shock. Meanwhile in London, former CIA operative James Copley sits in on a presentation by his employer, Merrick Pharmaceuticals. Merrick boasts of his company's potential to save millions of lives through cutting-edge research. Copley discreetly presents him with footage of the immortals in action. Impressed but unsatisfied, Merrick demands physical proof to fuel his experiments. Back in Afghanistan, Niall's miraculous recovery isolates her from her fellow Marines. Despite her protests, she's ordered to Germany for further testing. Before she can be transferred, Andy intercepts her, swiftly incapacitating the escort soldiers and taking Niall captive. During their drive, Niall makes a desperate bid to escape, prompting Andy to calmly step outside and shoot her in the head. Niall, until now half believing this was all some strange dream, is forced to confront the reality: she cannot die. The two arrive at an airfield, where a pilot is set to fly them to France. While Andy dozes off mid-flight, Niall secretly ties her arm to the plane and threatens the pilot at gunpoint, demanding they land. Andy quickly turns the tables, shooting the pilot as part of a ruse to catch Niall off guard. Disarmed and overpowered, Niall has no choice but to continue the journey, now deeper than ever in a world she doesn't understand. Andy and Niall arrive at the group's safe house, where Niall is introduced to the rest of the team and learns the truth about who they are. They explain their mission, the nature of their regenerative abilities, and how they've lived through countless historical eras, shaping events from the shadows. Andy reveals that while they heal from virtually any wound, immortality isn't guaranteed. There comes a time when it simply stops, though no one knows when or why. She recounts the loss of a fellow immortal centuries ago, whose wounds one day failed to heal. That night, Niall is jolted awake after confiding in the team about a disturbing vision she experienced: a woman trapped inside an iron coffin, screaming and thrashing endlessly. Booker identifies her as Gwen, the first immortal Andy ever discovered. The two had been inseparable friends and partners until they were captured by those who believed them to be unnatural. While both suffered repeated executions, Gwen was subjected to a crueler fate, sealed inside an iron coffin and cast into the ocean, condemned to drown over and over for 500 years. Through the strange bond they share, Niall felt every ounce of Gwen's agony. Soon after, mercenaries under Merrick's command raid the hideout. Booker is incapacitated by a grenade, his wounds taking unusually long to mend, while Joe and Nikki are overpowered and taken captive. Andy fights through the assault, killing several attackers before escaping with Niall and the wounded Booker. But she begins to realize with unease that her own healing is slowing. Meanwhile, Joe and Nikki are restrained and mocked by their captors. When one mercenary sneers and asks if Nikki is Joe's boyfriend, Joe delivers a fierce, heartfelt declaration that Nikki is far more than that. The two are eventually brought before Merrick, where Joe headbutts him in defiance. Merrick responds by sadistically stabbing Joe repeatedly, attempting to witness his healing firsthand. Still unsatisfied, Merrick orders them to the lab and demands the rest of the immortals be found. Andy, Niall, and Booker take refuge in an abandoned mine where they've stashed some of their gear. Andy, still shaken by her injury at the hideout, fears they might be tracked. As they discuss their next steps, Niall's doubts about her new reality deepen. When Booker reveals that he has long outlived all of his children, Niall reflects on her own mother and brother, and how they were forced to grieve her father when he was killed in action. Later, Andy slips away to a nearby pharmacy to treat her wound. On the road again, Niall makes a decision. Rather than continue on this dangerous path, she wants to spend whatever time she has left with her family. Andy, understanding, lets her go. But when Niall later finds a magazine clip in the trunk, she realizes Andy's gun was intentionally left unloaded by Booker. Meanwhile, Andy and Booker track down Copley. As they move in, Booker suddenly betrays her, shooting Andy in the back. He confesses that he's been working with Copley, believing Merrick might have discovered a way to end their immortality so they can finally rest. But when Booker sees that Andy's healing has slowed drastically, he begins to question his choice. Merrick's men arrive, capturing both Andy and Booker and taking them to join the imprisoned Joe and Nikki. Once Joe and Nikki learn of Booker's betrayal, their trust in him shatters. Elsewhere, Niall corners Copley and demands his help rescuing the others. To her surprise, he's eager to assist, having grown disgusted with Merrick's ruthlessness. Copley has secretly compiled evidence of the immortals' countless acts of heroism throughout history. Together, Niall and Copley infiltrate Merrick's headquarters, cutting down his guards and freeing Andy, Joe, Nikki, and Booker. Andy decides they can't just walk away. Merrick must be stopped permanently. In the ensuing fight, the immortals tear through Merrick's forces. Merrick himself corners Andy and Niall, attacking viciously. Andy buries her axe deep in his neck, but as he tries to fire on her, Niall tackles him through a window. They crash onto a car below. Niall heals almost instantly, while Merrick is left a mangled corpse. With Merrick dead, the team regroups and leaves together. In time, Andy's wounds heal completely, and the immortals move forward, stronger, warier, and united once more. Copley arranges for Niall to be officially listed as killed in action, ensuring her family believes she died honorably in the line of duty, just as they once mourned her father. Meanwhile, the remaining immortals pass judgment on Booker for his betrayal, sentencing him to a century-long exile. With a heavy heart, he says his goodbyes and walks away from the team. The others agree to continue working alongside Copley, provided he uses his resources to keep their existence concealed from the world. 6 months later, in Paris, a drunken Booker stumbles into his apartment. To his shock, he's met by a figure he never expected to see again, Gwen. The film begins in the middle of the ocean, where a crew led by a mysterious woman hauls an Iron Maiden from the depths. After prying it open, they find Gwen inside, still alive and gasping for air after centuries of being trapped. Meanwhile, in Croatia, the Old Guard, Andy, Copley, Niall, Joe, and Nikki, set their sights on arms dealer Conrad. Andy, now grappling with the loss of her immortality, pushes forward with the mission. Joe and Nikki create a diversion by engaging Conrad's men, giving Andy, Copley, and Niall the chance to infiltrate his estate. After a brief but intense fight, Andy and Niall manage to shoot Conrad off a balcony to his death. Back at their safe house, Copley reveals that Conrad wasn't the real buyer of the weapons. Surveillance footage points to a mysterious woman, whom Niall recognizes from recurring dreams, entering a library and assassinating a man. Elsewhere in Paris, the exiled Booker drowns his regrets in alcohol. Upon returning to his apartment, he's shocked to find Gwen waiting for him. She demands to know where Andy is, holding her responsible for the centuries she spent imprisoned beneath the sea. Niall teams up with Joe and Nikki to track down Booker, while Andy and Copley set off in search of Tua, an immortal man from Niall's visions in the library. When they find him, Tua welcomes them into his archive of knowledge and reveals the identity of the mysterious woman haunting their path. Her name is Discord, and she predates even Andy, making her the true first immortal. Tua and Discord both witnessed Gwen's execution centuries ago, but each held opposing views about humanity. Although Tua is unsure of Discord's true intentions toward the Old Guard, Andy confides in him that she has lost her immortality. The team later reunites after Joe and Nikki locate Booker, who delivers a message from Gwen to Andy. Determined to confront her past, Andy heads out with Niall to find Gwen. Upon finding her, Gwen confronts Andy with deep resentment, blaming her for centuries of abandonment. A brief fight erupts between them, until Discord appears, revealing that Gwen has joined forces with her. Later, Niall confronts Discord inside a church. Discord accuses Andy of meddling in human affairs and claims that such interference is why immortals are hunted. Declaring herself the first and Niall the last of their kind, Discord positions herself as a dangerous force with a dark vision for the future. Meanwhile, Booker confides in Tua about a recent fight between Andy and Niall in which Niall wounded Andy, an event Tua believes triggered the loss of her immortality. He theorizes that Niall may unknowingly possess the power to strip immortality with her wounds. That night, Gwen and a group of Discord's enforcers storm a secure facility, killing the guards without mercy. Soon after, Booker challenges Niall to a training duel. During the sparring session, she wounds him, and just like with Andy, his immortality fades. However, Booker chooses to keep this revelation between himself and Tua for now. The team discovers that Discord and Gwen have infiltrated a nuclear facility and are planting bombs with the intention of unleashing mass destruction. Although Niall realizes it's clearly a trap designed to lure them in, the team chooses to act, knowing the stakes are too high to ignore. Upon reaching the facility, they engage in a fierce battle with Discord's mercenaries. As the others work to disarm the bombs, Booker sacrifices himself, taking a fatal hit intended for Andy. In that moment, her immortality mysteriously returns. Fueled by the resurgence of her powers, Andy takes down wave after wave of enemies, but Booker's death proves to be permanent. Elsewhere, Niall and Gwen clash in a brutal fight. Niall manages to wound Gwen in a way that strips her of immortality. But during the battle, Discord ambushes Niall and seriously injures her. On the rooftop, Andy confronts Discord. In a chilling reveal, Discord admits she has lost her immortality and believes Niall holds the secret to regaining it. Her plan? To capture and drain the remaining immortals, Joe, Nikki, and Tua, in hopes of reclaiming her power. Despite Andy's strength, she is overwhelmed, and Discord escapes with her prisoners. Returning to Tua's library, Andy encounters Gwen once more. This time, they put the past behind them, choosing to unite against their common enemy. Together, they vow to bring Discord down and rescue their team.